My name is Nancy Taylor. I serve as the Senior Minister of Old South Church in Boston.
My name is Thomas Shaw, and I'm the Episcopal Bishop of the Diocese of Massachusetts, and I've been the bishop for about 15 years.
Michael Wayne Walker. I'm the Administrative Minister at Messiah Church, Messiah Baptist Church of Brockton, here in Brockton, Massachusetts.
We heard it in Massachusetts, and I understand that you have heard it in New York, heard the claim that same-gender marriage will be foisted upon unwilling clergy and unwilling houses of faith. That is either a disingenuous claim or it is a strategic lie, intentional misinformation to try to scare people.
Our legislature and the governor's office have gone out of their way to honor the rights of individual denominations.
There were no outside forces, law, institutions, organizations, no outside pressure at all. It was a decision that our congregation made that we want to be a part of where God is headed, and we want to head where God is headed, and we want to do what God is calling us to do, and we want to work for justice in our society, whatever front that happens to be on. So it was strictly a decision of this congregation.
The fact is that clergy and houses of faith do not have to and have never had to officiate at any marriages they don't want to.
If New York passes a law of marriage equality, you will have none of those problems. That's certainly our experience. We have had no issues with outside pressure, outside forces, no one forcing us or even implying that we need to marry someone that we don't desire to. That's never been an issue. There's never been any pressure to do that. So I certainly don't, that's based on our experience, that's totally unfounded. And based on the experience of the churches that I know, and I know several churches in this area that do not perform same-sex marriage. They've never had any pressure, they've never had any outside, not even threats to do it. That's not an issue at all.
We've never had any litigation around same-sex marriages, and we've never had any protests that I know of, and we've never had any interference as far as the government is concerned in our religious tradition. And as far as I know, that's the case in every other denomination.
The fact is that the vast majority of churches and ministers in Massachusetts cannot and do not officiate at same-gender marriage because they're not permitted to by their traditions. Roman Catholic clergy, if they wanted to, cannot because their tradition won't let them. It has nothing to do with the state. Methodists cannot. Lutherans cannot. Episcopalians cannot. And again, it has nothing to do with the state. It's their own religious tradition.
I think actually, now that it's something that's been decided and it's something that we've been living with for a while, people who were very much opposed to it in the past have sort of said, well, what were we so upset about with this? It's something that's just part of our regular life now.
Marriage has been changing for millennia, and thank God for that. If marriage was what it was in the olden days, women were owned by their husbands, and first they were owned by their fathers, and then they were transferred. The property right was transferred to the husband. Marriage has been evolving and changing. That's exactly why it's such an important institution today, because it's elastic enough to change and adapt. Massachusetts can prove that what people feared did not come about. There was this great henny penny thing, the sky's going to fall in, all these terrible things are going to happen. Marriage as we know it is going to disappear and fall apart. churches are going to have to do terrible things that are going to be uncomfortable for them and against their... None of this has transpired. The only thing that has transpired is that people who love each other now have the same rights as other people who've loved each other.
Serve God and let God's people be God's people. Let people be people. Turn from idols, serve the true and living God, and those things that you fear, those things aren't going to happen. Those fears are totally unfounded. I mean, if you don't like gays, lesbians, bisexual, transgendered folk, that's fine. You don't like them, you don't like them. But all those fears and all the things they're going to do in our community, that's not going to happen.
I can't think of in any way, shape, or form how same-gender marriage has harmed our life in the Commonwealth, let alone in this congregation. It's celebration. You know, marriage is about love and commitment. This is good. These are good things.